Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all is well. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. And I want to talk about this Cam Reddish situation. In my opinion, it is mind-boggling. It is just absolutely mind-boggling. It's confusing. It has you scratching your head, just like what's going on with this Cam Reddish situation. And I'm going to give you guys a run-through. When it comes to my opinion, when it comes to Cam Reddish, I'm not someone that thinks he's the next Paul George, like when he was the 10th overall pick back in the 2019 NBA draft coming out of Duke, but I do think he brings positive contributing factors that could help out this basketball team. So Cam Reddish, obviously, we go on to trade for last season. We give up a first rounder. We give up Kevin Knox. We go on to trade for Cam Reddish. I like this move by Leon Rose. He brings some upside. He's young. It shows that Leon Rose is looking towards the future, but also we acquire a piece that could help impact winning now. But Cam Reddish goes on to barely play at first. The reports come out that Tom Thibodeau didn't want to trade for Cam Reddish. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is a mess. But then when we finally do trade for Cam Reddish, when injuries go on to happen, we kind of have no choice. He plays well. Who would have thought? He didn't play perfect. He was up and down. But that's what you kind of expect from someone that does not get consistent minutes, who hasn't gotten consistent minutes in your system, and he's still adjusting to personnel. So Cam Reddish is playing very solid basketball. He's showing the contributing factors that we didn't have on this team when it came to size, athleticism, a guy that can get to the rack and finish, and he has very good body control. He could fit through these tight windows of the defense, just has very good body control going to the basket, the Euro steps and all that. There's still an inconsistency when it comes to his three-point shot and his motor, but we've definitely seen that motor this season. But Cam Reddish is playing pretty solid basketball. I remember the Clippers game, he played fairly well. I believe he had like 16 or 17 points in a blowout win. But he goes on to injure his shoulder and he's out for the season. And that's been what's holding Cam Reddish back throughout his career. Inconsistent minutes, but you could also say he's been inconsistent out there on the floor, and injuries, because you're not going to find a role in the NBA if you can't stay out there on the floor. Your best ability is availability. So that's huge. Cam Reddish is out for the season when it comes to his shoulder injury. Next season with the New York Knicks, it's not even just a big season for Cam Reddish in the New York Knicks. It's a huge season when it comes to his NBA career and proving himself to others. He's still young, but he has to prove he could stay out there on the floor. He can contribute. He can be consistent. He has to show he really consistently wants it. He's done that this season, so it's a contract year. He really wants to prove himself, and I'm like, will Cam Reddish actually get minutes? In the first game, he got action. He really did. So Cam Reddish, in over 20 minutes, came off the bench. Obviously hit that huge shot to force it to overtime versus Memphis, but he did a good job creating. He was a beast offensively. He was getting into the passing lanes. He does need to clean up the turnovers. So from a discipline standpoint, I do believe he needs to get better. But I'm like, damn, I love this. Cam Reddish, can he potentially be the starter for this Knicks team this season? Can he keep up this level of consistency? So he was getting solid minutes coming off the bench, which I absolutely loved. But I want to get into another player because it kind of goes into this. So Quentin Grimes, we took with the 25th pick out of Houston last year when it came to that 2021 NBA draft. He was someone that shot the three ball well, mentally tough, can get after defensively, but he goes on to have an injury as well. He eventually comes back, but he had a knee injury. But when it came to preseason, he actually had the sore foot, so he barely played in preseason. He played his last game of preseason, so he didn't play at all. I was like, why even play him in the last game? Maybe to shake some rust off, but if he's not 100%, just sit him out when it comes to preseason. Plays the last game, he aggravates it, and he doesn't play opening night. So Evan Fournier is obviously getting these starts. Quentin Grimes is limited in practice with the sore foot. It's a pretty serious sore foot. Fournier's obviously struggling. He's not even shooting the three ball well. Can't get after defensively. He's taking stupid shots. He's deep twos. It's extremely frustrating. I'm like, how much more do we have to see of Evan Fournier? Evan Fournier gets benched after, I believe, a few games of the season. Maybe like 6-7 games into the season at the top of my head right now. But Evan Fournier's playing atrocious bad basketball. He did end up coming off the bench, but now he doesn't even come off the bench at all, Evan Fournier. So Quentin Grimes actually comes back from the sore foot. Quentin Grimes, who I love, he's a mentally tough dude. He's a likable player. He's not going to put up crazy stats, but he's still going to show impact of winning basketball. He's an underrated passer with the ball. He's going to move the ball around, It's going to be contagious within the flow of the offense. Again, I respect Quentin Grimes, but for him to not even play one regular season game this season, for him to play one preseason game, he's extremely rusty. We go on to start him, which I really don't understand. We bench Fournier for Quentin Grimes. Maybe Tom Thibodeau likes the role of Cam Reddish coming off the bench, but Quentin Grimes is going to be extremely rusty. He's not our player, not the player that's going to put us in the best position to win. When you bring him back coming off the bench and then eventually get into the flow of things, and maybe then you could start him. So in my opinion, it's just like you're not earning your stripes. Tom Thibodeau, him saying like you got to really earn it, that type of thing. I'm not saying Quinn Grimes doesn't deserve things in the NBA. Obviously, like he's working his tail off, but Cam Reddish is contributing in these games, which made no sense. I was like, okay, start Quinn Grimes, but then Quinn Grimes isn't like fully 100%. He doesn't go on to play because of his sore foot, so we play him when he's not 100%, or maybe just aggravates it again or re-aggravates it. Cam Reddish gets starts, and Cam Reddish played very well when he was out there starting for the New York Knicks. And I really loved it because he brings us the size next to RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's struggling, he's up and down. Obviously, he was atrocious in the Grizzlies game. I believe we played the Pistons next. He kind of bounced back, but there was inconsistency. Like the inefficiency was still there. Like, I'm not trying to make this an RJ hate video. If I bring up RJ once, there's going to be a million RJ hate comments. I'm rooting for RJ as a New York Knick. Okay. So, anyway, I'm like, yeah, Cam Reddish is 6'7", 6'8", brings athleticism. We put him in this role that he kind of is taking on this defensive load. You know, he's getting after defensively. He's reading the passing lanes. He's playing with a high motor. He has ridiculous finishes around the basket, using the backboard and rim for protection. Just ridiculous jelly layups. He's working on the lane. He's just making it look so effortless with the body control, fitting through the defenders here. Just like when there's sometimes two people in the paint, somehow he just fits that window there and gets to the basket. It has a ridiculous finish. He's getting to the free throw line. I just love what Cam Reddish is bringing to the table. He's playing like a beast. Again, the points, maybe the production isn't crazy there, but at the same time, if you looked at Cam Reddish's role with the New York Knicks when he was starting, we didn't consistently give him we didn't consistently feed him the ball or put him in the position to succeed offensively. There was just a huge load on him, and it was just like we threw him in the fire, and I thought he pretty much succeeded for the New York Knicks. I thought he played pretty damn well as a starter, and I really liked what he contributed to the New York Knicks. So Quinn Grimes comes back from this injury or from the sore foot, still coming off the bench. Or he was coming off the bench, but I felt like he wasn't getting crazy minutes coming off the bench. It's just really weird when it comes to Tom Thibodeau, the way he handles minutes. But then the worst case scenario, what's hurt Cam Reddish's entire career, injuries. Sore groin injury. Good thing it isn't serious, but Cam Reddish doesn't play for a few games when it comes to sore groin injury. Quinn Grimes is all good. Quinn Grimes gets inserted into the starting lineup, so there's some flip-flopping going on. You know, Grimes starts at first, then he gets injured. Reddish comes in. Reddish gets injured, then Grimes is in there. Like we had Fournier at the start. Like, what is going on here? There's no stability, and let's just hope Grimes can stay healthy. So the thing about Grimes, he was rusty coming back. And his three-point shot, I do believe, is better than his percentage, even though it's been up and down this season. He shot it well last season, though. Shot it at a 38% clip, but then his shot kind of fell off when he was coming back from that knee injury. I'm like, all right, it's just rust. His three-point shot's up and down, but he's getting after it defensively, dives on the floor, plays with a high motor, contagious moving the ball. I really do love what Grimes brings to the table. So Reddish is obviously not playing. He's out with this injury. Reddish comes back from his sore groin. Doesn't start. So I'm like, all right, Grimes is locked up when it comes to the starting lineup, I guess, because we don't even ease him in because Grimes is still starting now, obviously, for the New York Knicks. Reddish comes back, though, and gets a good amount of minutes. He gets 21 minutes, like 21, 22 minutes versus Memphis, plays well, 11 points. Continuing to play very hard out there on the basketball floor. I love what he's bringing to the table. He's killing it in transition. But so after he gets 21 minutes versus Memphis, playing pretty well, he barely plays in Detroit, 17 minutes. And I'm like, all right, maybe you'll play more next game. But then after that, versus Milwaukee, he plays 14 minutes. I'm like, all right. So the minutes are just going down from here. 17, 14. Then he plays 9 versus Dallas. And I'm like, all right, I understand why he barely played in Dallas. Like, that was a disaster the way he played. He turned the ball over like crazy. I didn't like his approach in the game. His shot selection, his shot could be sometimes very flat from the outside. That's a big part of his game, too. That's kind of an Achilles heel. He'll knock down threes, but it's just not at an efficient clip because his mechanics are inconsistent. Sometimes he'll put arc on it. Sometimes he'll be extremely flat, hit the front rim, or nearly airball. Like, we've seen airball sometimes. Like, I remember opening night versus Memphis. Big shot in overtime. I believe he airballed. He rushed it. So when he's rushing it, or sometimes he's aiming a shot, it's really off. But you see these minutes declining. 9 minutes versus Dallas, he was pretty bad. But then he gets a DNP versus Cleveland. But this is the thing here. I understand holding your players accountable, seeing what they could do battling through adversity. But if you have the right players on your roster, you know that he needs to be better. And his approach will be better next game. But he's not the only one that has had to fight through adversity this season and play pretty, that has really struggled. Like, you just straight up give Cam Reddish a DNP. Like, when Hartenstein's playing bad, you don't give him a DNP and just, like, have Sims as the backup. There has to be an equal amount of accountability. But Cam Reddish, 0 minutes versus Cleveland. Hopefully, it turns around. Hopefully, he gets a good amount of minutes versus Atlanta, or at least gets 17 or 18 minutes. Because if this is the way his career ends in New York, it's going to be heartbreaking, in my opinion, because I really do believe he's fought his ass off and he's played extremely hard and he's earned those minutes coming off the bench or just in any type of contributing role. Definitely rooting for him. But again, I don't think he's going to be a future star or anything like that, but he could still be a very nice contributing piece, and he brings us shot creation and he brings us certain things we don't have. So let me know down below your thoughts on the situation. Peace out, y'all.